for a couple of minutes about Kringle specifically, and you may find this helpful for some of the other dogs down the road. But anyway, one of the first things that was really challenging for Kringle was the way that they were introducing him to new people. So the new person would come in the door and have a treat and offer it to Kringle, which was, that's stressful for a lot of dogs. It's just too much because he wanted that treat, obviously. But what would happen is if he had to get close, all of a sudden it's super common for dogs to get, approach the person and then wanting that treat and all of a sudden being like, whoa, I didn't mean to get that close. And sometimes you're like nipping situations and things like that. So for sure, here's a better way to have a new person be introduced to a dog like Kringle. One of them is a game we call Treat and Retreat, which is essentially treating the dog for doing what he wants to do anyway, which is to get farther away from you. So you're going to toss the treat. This is the owner. I'm sorry. This is the visitor coming into the house. So the visitor is going to take a treat, toss the treat over the head of the dog or to the side in some way away from you. And then what'll happen is the dog will immediately start heading back your direction to the place where he's comfortable. He'll pause there, and then you can toss again over the dog's head. So over and over, the dog is being reinforced for doing what it wants to do anyway, which is to stay farther away. But at that same time, he's getting the sensation that this visitor is good news. Food's coming from this visitor, and that helps kind of desensitize, helps him kind of begin to change his mind about what this new person might mean. And all that's happening in a really non-threatening way. And also in that way, when the dog approaches the person, they can manage their own space. What we find with dogs a lot is that, and it's the same way with people, which is that having choice is very confidence building. Being able to make the choice about how close you get or, in what way you meet another person, it's super reinforcing to do it in that way, in a way that you have choice versus being walked into a situation in which you feel like you don't have any control. So anyway, let me show you what treat and retreat looks like. It's super simple. It's just really, really simple. So again, all I'm going to be doing is tossing the treat. Let me move a little farther back. All I'm doing is tossing the treat over the dog's head, allowing the dog to come to me as close as they feel comfortable, and I'm going to treat some more over their head. By the way, I'm not making a lot of eye contact. If it's a really anxious dog, the person could even begin sitting down. But for now, it's fine. Just start standing up. If a dog like Kringle, you might think about starting from a seated position and then work up into a standing position. And again, not a lot of eye contact, just kind of tossing that treat over the head, over the head. And you'll see he automatically comes back to me. They just always do. Of course, this dog is not afraid of me in any way. But again, you get that idea. They're always going to head back your direction, and you always throw the treat over their head. Show you one more. Whoop. Oh, you're so afraid of me, I can tell. First of all, when the people were having Kringle meet people, they were having the visitor feeding him. If your new people do want to do that, they don't have time, say, for this treat and retreat at that moment, have the fosters be doing the treating rather than the new person. It's just too much to have a person be, putting that food right in the dog's mouth, and it's just too intense. So anyway, if there's any treating to be done, have that treating being done by the foster, not the owner. Essentially, it's called open bar, closed bar. And what that entails is walking up to the, in Kringle's case, it was a new person. for my purposes here, I'm going to use a dog. I have a fake dog here, and the dog that I have does not like this fake dog a bit. So I'm going to set up the fake dog using that, just like, you know, Kringle might work with a visitor. And so what I'm going to do, open bar means it's all food, all happy talk, everything's great. It's really it's a happy time. Closed bar means no words, no happy talk, no food, no nothing. So, and what happens is you've got open bar as you're taking a step toward the visitor. Or in my case here with this dog, when I'm taking a step toward the fake dog that he's afraid of, that's going to be open bar. Woo, we're talking, we're eating, we're having all this good time. And then when I take a step back from this scary dog, all of a sudden I'm quiet. It's not fun. It's boring. No food is coming. And we'll let her feel that sort of, that sadness, that desolation, that nothing is happening. Then we're going to step closer again to the little scary dog. And then comes all the food and the happy talk and all the goodness. Then we're going to step back. Nothing. So again, the big deal is you're trying to have all the happiness and the joy coming from that step toward the trigger. And then everything gets quiet and boring as you step away. So let me show you what that looks like. This dog does not like. Maybe it's not so bad anymore. All right, so we're back here. I'm feeding the dog. We're gonna take one step. Oh, puppy, good job. Hey, good job. Yeah, we got puppy. Oh, so good. Hey, we got a puppy here. Yes. And then we take a step back. Boring. Ooh, there's puppy there. Look, we got puppy. Ooh, that's so good. That's so much fun. That's so much fun. Look at. Ooh, good job. Look, we got a visitor. Look, we got a visitor coming. Yay, we got a visitor. Hi, visitor. Woo, woo. So good, so good. Good job. So you get how that works. Just all the goodness and all the joy happens as you approach the dog. And what you'll find is that threshold gets smaller and smaller and smaller. So the dog can walk up to the, you know, in this case, the fake dog they don't like. But in Kringle's case, the dog can get closer and closer to the visitor and begin to feel comfortable and totally happy about it because all the good stuff is happening around that visitor. I'm going to send you also a couple of things. One of them is how to teach a dog how to relax their body on cue. So I'll send you a video about that. I'm also going to send you a video which is related but different, which is teaching a dog how to relax themselves in such a way that even when things are changing in the environment, in our case, we're talking about a person coming in the house, that the dog gets the sensation that they really don't have to do anything about it. They can notice it, but they don't have to be busy about it and get involved in any way. So that's called protocol for relaxation, a little bit different, but same, teaching a dog to be calm in certain circumstances is just huge for them. It's just huge. So, and then I'm also going to send you a video about practicing with a dog at the door and giving them something very predictable that they do every time when somebody comes in the door, because it's challenging when the way that they were handling with Kringle is that somebody would come in the door and everybody would get very silent. And they would be like, don't look at the dog, just stand here and be still. And Kringle's kind of checking things out and moving around everybody. And it kind of creates this, it creates what feels like for me, what happens between dogs I don't know if you've ever had this experience where you'll have two dogs that are kind of evenly matched and they're kind of casing each other out, and maybe one of them, maybe it's starting to escalate. So what'll happen is you'll start to see this stiffening, and they get big and puffy, and their tails go up, and their ears go up real hard, and they're just kind of casing each other out and sniffing, and there's real, they're very, they move real abruptly. And then there will be this moment of stillness where they're just checking each other out. And then will come this, if there's going to be a fight, that's how it'll begin. It begins from this moment of stillness. And so that's what it feels like to me when Kringle was coming in and everybody was being quiet, waiting to see, don't look at Kringle, let him kind of wander around and he'll decide when he's ready to meet you. It's, that's what that feels like to me, that moment of stillness. So what I would do instead, what's very helpful for dogs like Kringle, is to have something very specific that happens every time when somebody comes in. A very predictable pattern. Oh, you're noisy. A very predictable pattern. Like every time we go in the door, you go to this mat and you sit on this mat until the people come in. Whatever that ritual might be. It might be going to a mat, it might be going to a crate, it might be going into a down, it might be going in, whatever the thing is. Like in my case, I used to have 4 dogs that would go into, there was a staircase behind me, and people would come in the door, and the dogs were each on a stair. They had their own particular stair, and that's what's very helpful. The more specific you can make it, the better it is for the dogs. It makes them more comfortable, and they know exactly what's going to happen. They don't have to be like, oh, okay, do I have to bark this person out the house? Do I have to bark them a mile away? Do I have to bark them 5 miles away? What do I have to do before my job is done? Instead, they're just like, oh, I go up to my specific stair and I stay there, and that's my job. I know I've completed my mission. So that's kind of what I think we want to set for Kringle, is to have a place, and that's what I discussed with them, was creating a place for him to be when people come in, farther away from the door, where he can just watch them coming in. I'll send you a little video about that. So I'm going to send this video, a couple others, some written handouts that might be helpful for you as well. And then also just feel free anytime to contact me if you just want to chat, or if you want to have your fosters chat for a minute and make sure that what they're doing is, they're doing things in such a way that it's going to help get where they want to go with Kringle. So anyway, that's the scoop. Call me with anything. Very nice. I appreciate the chance to work with you, and I will talk to you later. Thanks.